Good morning, friends, followers, subscribers, my little army of Trevorites, my cultists, and those that support this channel. Thank you very much for your continuing support. But as I always say, when you're watching this video and you've not yet subscribed, why not? It's free. Right, yesterday I spoke about deploying on operations in my first video, and I finished that first video about landing in theatre, in the theatre of operations, coming off the aircraft to land in the theatre of operations. Now, the thing is, whenever you went on operations in Northern Ireland, you went on a civilian plane. Sometimes, very rare, you went by C-130 and you landed at RAF Aldergrove, and then you went into coaches from there, bits and pieces. It depends on what the scenario was. And if you didn't know, if you landed in RAF Aldergrove and you moved off to the military side of it, 9 times out of 10 you got in the back of vans. We called them pantanks. They were just vehicles, lorries, and you threw all your kit in the back of them. They were civilian lorries. You wouldn't know what they were driving around Northern Ireland, and they turned up in camp. Basically, there was seats in the back of these lorries, and you sat there, the door got closed, and it was quiet. You could have the odd chat, but mainly people just slept. And then you woke up in your uniform, you're in your army uniform, you had your weapon system, you didn't have ammunition, but the drivers of these wagons would have pistols, hidden pistols, in case they got stopped at, I don't know, different types of tire checkpoints or whatever. So, and that's how you travelled around Northern Ireland a lot of the time. That's now done and dusted. When you go on operations, you usually fly into an airfield, which is especially in Helmand, and you got off, you waited, you got your kit. Now, whenever I arrived in Helmand, the first time in 2006, there was nothing there. It was a desert. There was a couple of 9x9s and 12x12s. You know, like the old, remember the program MASH that had all the green tents? Well, Helmand, Camp Bastion, used to look like that at the very start. And I remember going to a tent. There was a truck driving around, a couple of trucks driving around, spraying water on the desert, on the sand to try and keep it down because it was very dusty. You got in your lungs. And then we got all our kit. Remember getting all our search equipment? I won't talk about the different names and stuff, but we got all our search equipment, and the guys went off and practiced with the search equipment, how to spot IEDs, what to do in the event of an IED, how to mark it, how to make your safe lanes, all the different stuff. And they practiced that. You had your radio operators, which would go and just work out the radios. They already were trained up on them, but they would get the radio, make sure the batteries were charged. They would do radio checks with each other. Then you had the PRRs, which are the personal war radios, which every man had. We'd do all checks. Everyone would check to see everything was working before you left camp. It was interesting. And then we had the ECM, the electronic countermeasures, which is the stuff which detects different types of radio waves for different types of IEDs, and that stuff. That's quite heavy. So we did all that, and once that was all put together and we had everything ready to go, the maps were sorted, the 2 ICs, the lance corporals, the corporals, section commanders, platoon sergeant, platoon commander, we all had our maps all marked up. We were all singing off the same song sheet. We had an intelligence brief, a threat brief of where we were going, what the ground was like. Then the amount of maps we got originally was just ridiculous. We had maps of every little village of Helmand province, different 1 in 25, 1 in 50,000, and we knew what was going. We knew what the area was like. We knew who was there, where we were going to patrol. Then you got to take into consideration, what do you carry? Now, obviously, you wear your body armor, front plate and back plate. Then the vests all changed, didn't they? You got your helmet on, your camelback in the back of your backpack with about 2 litres of water, with a spare litre of water. You've got your rations, you've got your ammunition, spare batteries. I mean, your first aid kit, your tourniquet, your first field dressing, your morph. So many things you got to carry and sort out. And then you get told where you're going. And you go up, you wait up at the, you pack away your bergens, you put them in a line inside your tent, all marked up with a bit of mine tape with your call sign on it. And you go and you wait for your helicopter, or you wait for whatever it is you're getting, and you fly out. By then, there's no excuses. Every man and woman, if you have a lady, every man, jack, woman in that patrol, platoon, know their job inside out. They know everything inside out. At that stage, by the way, at that stage of the operation, you don't have an interpreter. No. You have what you call I forget the name of it now. Someone in your platoon. My guy was Justin Couples, and he was our locally guy. He knew some of the language, so he was trained up. He knew words of command and stuff. We all had our little books of what we can and can't do and hand signals, and we all knew what to do. And then you fly out. My first place that I flew out to was Sangin, believe it or not. I know a lot of people's complaint. Hence the book First Into Sangin. Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Tootle sent us on a mission out there, and we stayed there. We stayed in we called it the platoon house. It was the very first platoon house in Afghanistan, which was in Sangin, DC. When we arrived there was not even a sandbag filled. Have I got a photograph? When we arrived there was not even a sandbag filled. Now, the way that house turned out, the house ended up looking like this. Can you see all the sandbags on the roof, the antennas? See it? It was like a fortress. But whenever I first arrived there, this is my section on the roof. Now, it's a dark photograph, so bear with it. This is my section on the roof of Sangin, DC. Not a single sandbag. See it? Looking over the river? That's it, looking over the river, ladies and gentlemen, out towards the Wadi. Not a single sandbag. The threat was quite low, and we built up a good rapport. We used to go, you couldn't do that anymore, but we used to go on section patrols. I'd take my section out, sometimes two. We would leave one section at the building, and two sections would go on a patrol, and we'd go out for about 7-8k all the way around there. And our helmets were attached to our weapon, our belt kit. We just wore little desert hats. It was quite chilled out. There was nothing. Doing hearts and minds. I remember a guy called Paul Bacon doing first aid on a local kid who had been hurt and just helping out, giving out rations. It was quite chilled. And then it all changed. It all changed overnight. It got ridiculous. Anyway, listen, look forward to part 3, which I will be uploading over the next 2 days. Take care and stay safe.